Okay, probability tables. Probability tables are perhaps tricky to get your head around. You will need a calculator for some of the calculating, so I'll get my calculator open. And you should have your calculator alongside you, and maybe a bit of scrap paper to note things down on. Probability is just a measure of how likely something is to happen. That's all probability is, remember. So in these sets of questions, we just have to read the question carefully and then do some calculating on the numbers, okay? A person is selected at random from all these people. What is the probability that the person is a young comedy watcher? So these are the young people, middle-aged people, old people, and whether they like sport, comedy, or drama. So the young comedy watchers are these guys here. There's 51 of them. Do you agree there's 51 of them? Hopefully you agree there's 51 of them. How many are there all together? Well, it's all of the numbers added up. Okay, so that's where we need our calculator. So we've got 42 and 34 and 26 and 51 and 31 and 36 and 40 and 48 and 41. So there are 349 people altogether. How many of them like comedy? 51. And in maths, 51 out of 349 is written as a fraction. You might know that. It's 51 over out of 51 out of 349. And that as a fraction, that means divide it by. So 51 divided by 51 over 349 is 51 shared between 349. So it's 51 divided by 349. And that tells us the probability that they are a person who likes comedy. To 2 decimal places. So it asks for, I'm not sure if it's asking for the percentage here. I think it might be asking for the percentage, in which case it's going to be 14.61%. The way to work out the percentage is just move the decimal point 2 places, because percentage is multiplying by 100 or out of 100. So if you want to, you could just do times 100 on your calculator, and it just moves the decimal place along. So it's 14.61. Okay, I think that's what it's asking for. I think that's what that big P stands for. No, didn't. He wanted it to be as a decimal, so I should have left it as 0.146, which would have been 0.15. I would have rounded up to 0.15 because the 0.14 would have rounded up. So now we know what P means. We can do that again. A person is selected at random. What's the probability they are a young comedy watcher? So young comedy is 52 out of the total amount there. So let's add up the total amount. We've got 54 plus 35 plus 33 plus 52 plus 33 plus 30 plus 38 plus 46 plus 50. 371, 52 out of 371 is 0.14 again, and to the 2 decimal places is just 0.14. It doesn't round up to 0.15 because of the 0. So just 0.14, and we get that one correct. Let's just do one more. Young person selected at random. What's the probability they're a young sports watcher? So young sports watcher is that one there. 58 plus 47 plus 37 plus 47. I'm just doing a couple more because I'm just wanting to check and see if it gets harder. It might ask you to do like 2 groups out of the total, in which case you just add them together and divide by the total. 401, and it's young sports. 58 divided by 401 is 0.144, so 0.14. Okay, and let's just see if it gets harder. Yes, here we go. A person is selected at random. What is the probability that they are not an elderly sports watcher? So that's everyone who's not an old sports watcher. So it's everyone except them. So let's just add those guys up. 47 plus 44 plus, now we'll add up this row, 58 plus 35 plus 23 plus 29 plus 34 plus 48. So they're all the ones who are not young sports watchers, 318. Just write that down on a piece of paper if you've got one. And it asks us what is the probability that the person is not an old sports watcher. So it's those people out of the total, which is that same amount plus the elderly sports watchers. So plus another 36 is 354. So it's 318 out of 354. 318 out of 354. Remember, out of is just divided by. And the fraction is 0.898 or 0.90. And there we go. I think that's as hard as it gets. So just read them carefully, selecting a young drama watcher or an elderly sports watcher. So that one here, you'd look at young drama is 40. Elderly sports is 27. So it's 67, those two together. 67 out of all of them. So add them all up and then put 67 divided by whatever they all are. And that's your percentage. So for every question, it's divided by the whole lot. You just have to add up the ones that it asks you to add up.